so many people are going to have a harder time hiring workers or paying them competitive wages. Again, they tend to be smaller businesses, but they're the backbone of our economy. About half the workers in America work for businesses like this. So they may be 80 or 90% of the businesses, but because they're smaller, they employ about half the people. But this is where we get so much of our innovation. This is where we have so many opportunities for lower-income workers to get a start. This is where the American dream is found. Under current policy, the Congressional Budget Office expects that as the economy continues to recover from the pandemic, tax revenues will grow, and I quote them here, to 18.1% of the economy, GDP, in 2022. So next year, 18.1% of the economy will be tax revenues, and then fluctuate between 17.5% and 18.1% of our economy through 2031. So they're saying taxes as a percent of the economy will be somewhere between 17.5 and 18.1% between now and 2031, over the next 10 years. Next year, 18.1%. This is interesting because Democrats are saying, well, taxes need to be higher. The historical average is 17.3%. So the estimate from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says we're going to be between 17.5 and 18.1, and next year already at 18.1%, whereas the historical average is 17.3%. Even this year, as we're still recovering from the pandemic and tax receipts are less, it's expected to be 17.2% based on the Congressional Budget Office. So you got to think about this. Why is this great urge to raise taxes right now? Why tear down what worked? Why put America in a position where we're paying higher and higher taxes as a percent of our economy? Contributing to this revenue growth, the Congressional Budget Office projects corporate tax receipts are going to climb to $379 billion in 2023, or 1.5% of GDP. According to the Tax Foundation, this will be, quote, a record high in nominal terms, so that $379 billion will be a record high in corporate tax receipts, and nearly matching average corporate tax collections as a share of GDP prior to the 2017 tax reform. So again, I just ask people to think about this. They say, well, we need to tax companies more. Remember, you're taxing workers, according to the analysis of the Tax Foundation, the Congressional Budget Office, but also those receipts are going to be at record levels and very close to, as a percent of the economy, where they were before the 2017 tax reform. What we should take away from these findings is that the economy is growing as we come out of this pandemic. We know this to be true. We've known it for months, really. The Congressional Budget Office projected way back in January that without any additional government help, no new COVID-19 packages, not including the $1.9 trillion spending package that Congress passed in March, that the economy would fully recover by mid-year. And they were right. Even as much of that spending has not gone out yet from the $1.9 trillion. Payroll tax revenue has risen by about 4%, suggesting that workers are taking home bigger paychecks than before. So the economy is beginning a nice recovery. We need it to continue. The last thing you want to do is to slap a bunch of taxes on the economy right now and have the economy go down and have workers, in particular, bear the brunt of that. My question is, why would you want to throw out a tax code that has helped fuel this unprecedented economic recovery we saw pre-pandemic and brought in more money in the process? In 2017, with this tax reform, we helped usher in an economy powered by workers and powered by small businesses and powered by more competitive, larger businesses. It wasn't powered by big spending here in Washington, D.C. The results worked. It was truly historic. Moving ahead, let's stay the course. Instead of hiking taxes and putting a damper on American prosperity and American opportunity for everybody to get ahead, a massive tax increase won't make us build back better. A massive tax increase will tear down what makes us better. I yield back my time.
Mr. President,
The senator from Minnesota.
Mr. President, are we in quorum call?
No.
Okay, Mr. President, I come to the floor to speak in support of very important new legislation, the Freedom to Vote Act, that I introduced yesterday with the members of the Voting Rights Working Group assembled by Leader Schumer, which includes